So we've been telling you about this delegation of New Yorkers that headed to Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic to see firsthand the damage from Hurricane Fiona.
Yeah, the Bronx is home to thousands of people who moved here from the islands. Many live in the congressional district of Representative Richie Torres.
Yes, Congressman Torres just returned from a tour of all the damage in Puerto Rico. Joins us live now from Washington, D.C. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us. And let's just dive right into this, because I know you were there, you were on the ground, you've seen it for yourself. You know, we're seeing these pictures, which are horrific, but you were there. Describe what you've seen.
Well, I spent the weekend in Puerto Rico and I met with the governor and FEMA. I was part of a House Homeland Security delegation, and we saw, structural damage, collapsed roadways, distribution systems that had been damaged. Even though it was only a Category 1 hurricane, the flooding from Fiona was comparable to that from Maria, and we could see the damage on the ground. The central issue is the electric grid. The electric grid in Puerto Rico is so fragile that it easily collapses under the weight of even a Category 1 hurricane. Every natural disaster like Fiona leads to widespread outages. As of this morning, about 33% of the island had no electricity, 13% had no water. And when you break down the outages by region, the results are even worse. In the southern region, in the areas in and around Ponce, more than 70% of the households there have no electricity. So in the wealthiest country in the world, in the United States of America, more than 3 million American citizens on the island of Puerto Rico have no electricity.
Let me ask you this. We've seen the power outages across the island this past summer, well before this storm. What has got to be done long term to try and fix the island's power grid?
Well, the federal government should leverage every tool at its disposal to expedite the rebuilding of the electric grid, which is the most dire infrastructure need in the United States. There are two issues. First, the electric grid has no redundancy. There are no backup systems. So if one system fails, it causes widespread outages. So it's not enough to repair the electric grid. We have to build it back better. We have to rebuild it with redundancy, with backup systems. A second problem, there's no diversification. There's virtually no renewable energy. Puerto Rico is heavily dependent on fossil fuels. And part of the problem here is the Financial Oversight Management Board, which has been imposed by Congress on Puerto Rico. The Financial Oversight Management Board has prevented Puerto Rico from escaping the high cost of fossil fuels and transitioning to clean energy. At one point, the board rejected 16 solar projects that would have brought renewable energy from 2% to 20% of Puerto Rico's electricity.
I want to ask you a big picture question now, not just about this storm, not just about Maria 5 years ago, not just about, what we've been seeing, but big picture here. I've heard so many Puerto Ricans, and I've heard them say, look, we are treated like second-class citizens. Do you agree with that? Because again, we're all Americans here. Do you agree with that? And then if you do, how do you fix that?
Look, the second-class electric grid in Puerto Rico is symptomatic of Puerto Rico's second-class status. Puerto Rico is neither a state nor an independent country. It is essentially a colony of the United States. I feel deeply that Puerto Rico should be a state, because statehood would mean 2 U.S. senators and 5 members of the House. It would mean more federal representation and more resources. A wise person once said, if you don't have a seat at the table, then you're probably on the menu. And Puerto Rico deserves a seat at the table, which can only come from statehood.